What's up, YouTube? This video is my top 5 questions. Number 1, how do you get into being into a pit crew? On the local circuit, pay for a pit pass. Walk up and start talking to guys or girls, whatever, their team. They will have to evaluate your skills. If your skills as a mechanic, technician are really good, you might get the job. You might just get the job of being a tire person. Nothing wrong with that. Get your feet wet. But a lot of this stuff is built on trust. Alright? Trust is a huge thing. Because, A, your driver has to trust you with their life. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's very important. You mess up one bolt and that car goes flying, it can get somebody killed. Think about it. It's a very dangerous sport. You have to be sure of your skills. You might not get a second chance. I'm not trying to scare you off. I'm just trying to keep it real. You better be dead sure, 100%, that what you were doing is correct. Outside of that, it can be very easy on a local circuit. As far as bigger teams, I don't have experience with that as much as I have information. Now, that brings me to question number 2. Is there schooling? Yes. There are some places that you can go to school for what's like a school for racing specific things. I should say motorsports, but more of it is like chassis design. Some of the classes are engine building. Others focus on suspension. There's a whole class on tires, especially for dirt. Like, how do you shave them properly? How do you do this? How do you do that? You have to find what's in your area and what's available. Granted, online is a great resource as well. Some people love sharing their secrets of things. Listen to them. Also, on the job training, a lot of places, if you just hang around, you might get asked to go to somebody's garage, and just look at what's going on. You might have to keep your mouth shut. And that's not just because of cheating or anything. It's literally because it's a very competitive sport. And once again, that goes back to trust. Trust is a huge, huge thing. I can't stress that enough. Not only life or death stuff, but literally trust is paramount. The driver has to trust that you're not going to run your mouth about tire pressures or stuff like that to another competitor, or badmouth so-and-so, or start fights in the pits, or all that stuff that could go back onto the driver. Because face it, the driver is responsible for you. And how do you think they would feel if they just spent 50 laps, 25 laps, 30 laps, whatever, how many ever laps there are in that feature? They placed well. They're all excited and everything. They get out of that car and they find out you were a jackass in the pits. And now they're suspended. Yeah. I've seen it happen. It's not pretty. Gotta watch yourself. And that's where that trust comes in. What will get you that trust is communication. Be a person of your word. If you don't know something, you let them know right away. I'm not joking. Transmissions are not my strong suit. Okay? Just being real. I don't have that much experience with them. I know enough to be dangerous. And that's exactly what I told my driver. He's like, that's cool. We outsource that knowledge. Fine by me. What have I been doing all season? Learning about transmissions. Because I want to further myself. And I want the best for my driver. That's my job. Brings me to number 3. What tools do you need? A good compression tester. Okay. There's several on the market. Take your pick. Get something that's accurate. We'll need spark plug sockets. Preferably the ones that have extensions. Those are really, really nice. Magnetic too. That helps. Extensions, sockets, ratchets, little screwdrivers here and there. A decent assortment. Pliers, all kinds of pliers. More pliers than what you really think. We don't run any AN wrenches right now with the compact. But I do have a set for like the late model days and things like that. Street stock, back when I was doing that, those things were paramount because almost everything has freaking aluminum fittings that you have to be very, very careful with. So, yeah. An assortment of not really specialty electrical stuff, but, a decent thing of like wire strippers, butt connectors, multimeter. Trying to think of just some of the basic stuff. Because you don't really need much. I mean, stuff is going to break. But a lot of it in racing, everything's stripped down to bare basics, so you can get by with a lot more. One thing I will say, get one of the heavy-duty hand rivet guns. It will save you. Okay, yeah, having an air riveter, that's a godsend. But one thing you might need anyway. Safety wire pliers. Don't leave home without them. Stuff will have to be safety wired for certain classes. Just saying. A decent amount of brake tools. Take your pick. If you run rear drums on a stock class, you might need some rear drum tools. Brake line flaring tools. Basic brake tools. Okay. Outside of that, we run the impacts. If you're really building the car, sanders are nice, grinders. Trying to think, an assortment of brake clean, anti-seize, funnels, zip ties, more zip ties. Did I mention zip ties? Yeah. More zip ties. Okay. You'll get sick of zip ties. I'm telling you. Glass cleaner. Make sure it is Lexan approved. Very, very important. Do not want to scratch that Lexan. Or then you got to replace it. Then, drill bits are another thing because you got to drill out rivets and you will go through drill bits. I don't care what the name brand is. I blow through the 3/16 bits like crazy. Okay? Yeah. That's like a must. Outside of that, flashlights. Always good. Stuff to check. On tracks, we don't run coolant. But, you might want something like temperature guns, air gauges, things like that, so you can keep track. One of the seamstress, flexible tape measure things for checking tires, measurements. If you're really getting into the stuff, durometers, height gauges, angle gauges, tread depth indicators. That stuff is all important. Number 4, how much does it cost? For me, I pay my way in to every race. It is $30 for my pit pass. Okay, I pay my own food. Now, my uniforms and stuff like that was supplied to our sponsor. And huge shout out to Marie's Custom Tees. Very awesome. And I love my uniform. But outside of that, I mean, sometimes stuff gets paid for. Sometimes it don't. But I can't give you an accurate price because it all depends on what your crew and your team does. Number 5. Well, there you go. How did I get into this? Look at one of my very first videos. Also, if you're new to the channel, that video pops up. You know, it's a great little thing of how I got involved. But, like question number 1, just put yourself out there. Some people are really cool, and they'll tell you, look, can you come back? Busy right now. Other people, you'll hear things that you didn't want to hear. Okay? Just don't take it personal. All right? They could be having a really, really, really bad day at that point. You know, and you don't want to be on the receiving end of any of that. Okay? Trust me, been there. Learned my lesson real quick. Okay? Things get kind of sketchy at that point. But, yeah. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Ring the little belly. You know? And as always, keep it on the track. I'm going to bed.